Wait, do you ever get disappointed when you're showing someone something for the first time and you really want them to get it? And
No,
they
not
don't?
at all. I think
Yes.
Oh.
Matt knew exactly where I was
Absolutely.
going with that question.
I'm clearly an Eeyore.
I'm probably Rue.
I'm a Christopher Robin with a poo rising.
And then I get in a canoe and I'm like, Clairs don't like canoes.
No, they don't.
I'm afraid of this lake.
That's exactly what it was.
Ow.
It was a beautiful moment in our friendship. I was
literally in the middle of getting hers up and down the
Pathetic.
stairs. Ow. I was like, I'm trying to get my hair done. I'm like, ah.
I don't think that's an accurate representation of my owl.
Well, you were in such pain you couldn't see clearly. So,
Trauma.
Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. I'm Matt Young. I'm a theater educator and a parent. And ever since I lost my father to cancer, I have been mildly obsessed with death. This is my last will and testament. Coco Chanel once said, "Guilt is perhaps the most painful companion of death." I'm sure you guessed it, but this week's episode is all about death. Death? No, every episode's about death. No, this week's episode is about guilt. And it's just Claire and I today, and we're going to dive deep into guilt. It's going to be a short intro because it turns out that I have COVID. I think you probably can hear it in my voice. Anyways, I feel fine. Don't worry about me. Just enjoy the episode.
I was gonna
Yeah.
go home and assemble a bookcase, but I just
Bookcases are nice and easy to assemble, I think.
I don't want to anymore. I just want to go sit around.
Sit around and just lazy Sunday.
Yeah, I think I've been learning that those times are important.
A lazy Sunday?
Like a day where you do nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But we are glad that I put the chair together eventually for you
Oh
that
my
you're sitting
god,
in.
this is making a huge difference.
I think so. 'Cause you
Yeah.
sit back and
My
really-
only issue is these days I've noticed my joints get a little creaky. So when
Yeah.
I sit here cross-legged for a long time, and then I make some type of movement, I realize oh my god, my knees hurt.
Well, I had a fever the other day, so my whole body ached. I could tell during the day, I was thinking, am I going to get a fever? Because my legs feel like I just walked miles.
Yeah.
All the muscles were
Fever's
so
the
tense.
worst.
Yeah, they are the worst. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to the Last Will podcast. It's just Claire and I today. Did you do much thinking on the topic?
No.
Good, because I changed it.
Wait, what are we doing today?
Well, so we were supposed to do curiosity, but I think we're going to wait for Grady for that.
Okay.
Because he has some non-thoughts about curiosity.
Oh, I
that
love
we
that.
want to pin on him. And it's the Jewish holidays. It's Passover, so I figured guilt was
great.
the great way to go.
I'm so much happier with this topic.
Yeah. So so let's talk about guilt.
I was hoping you would make a push for that.
Yeah, I asked my butterfly friend, and she reminded me, it is the Jewish holiday, so guilt makes a lot of sense. I was
What's a butterfly friend?
my butterfly friend,
What is that?
my friend who gives me butterflies.
Oh, got it.
So that's what she suggested, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Said out of the two. So let's get right to the definition.
Go for it.
Let's get into it. Guilt is an emotional response that arises when a person believes they have violated their own moral standards or ethical principles. It often includes feelings of remorse, regret, or responsibility for a perceived wrongdoing. Guilt can motivate individuals to make amends or change their behavior. It can also serve as a social mechanism that encourages adherence or societal norms. In psychological terms, guilt can be both a healthy emotion, promoting moral development, and a source of distress when it becomes excessive or chronic.
Mm-hmm.
How was my reading on that? I felt like it was a little I don't know, choppy.
Oh, I thought it was fine.
I placed the phone
in between myself and the microphone, and I almost couldn't see it the right way, and so I wasn't getting the use of both eyes. I don't know.
Well, we all know you
Weird.
need new glasses.
Thanks. All right.
Interesting, because the whole beginning, there were some strong statements in there.
Yeah. Some like definitives.
Yeah, and I can't remember what they were off the top of my head.
All right. Guilt is an emotional response that arises when a person believes they have violated their own moral standards or ethical principles.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that.
No? Where do you think guilt comes from?
Well, moral standards?
Like your own personal,
I have to think about that, because like the guilt that I've been feeling the last couple of weeks has not been about my own moral standards. It's been about letting other people down.
But you wouldn't put that in your own kind of like daily morality? Or I guess maybe morality has a heavier feel to it than the casual way in which we do live with a morality every day. We just don't kind of label it that.
I guess I'm having a hard time with these words because
words suck.
Because words are confusing. Because when I think of morality, I think of like my own moral compass, right?
Right.
Like what I'm thinking about in particular is the fact that I just moved out of my parents' house.
Okay.
And I feel guilty that I have left them. But that has nothing to do with my own moral compass.
Well, let's dig deeper.
Okay.
Right? You feel guilty because you're not there for your parents to help with the chores of the house, to help make their lives easier, the ecosystem of the house work. You're leaving the cats to them.
Mm-hmm. And none of those things I wanted to do.
r-
I left because I didn't want to do any of those things. And I think I feel guilty because I didn't want to help.
Okay.
God, I really hope they don't listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, your dad
horrible.
will, but your mom doesn't know that we have a podcast, does she?
She does.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
She's like, when am I going to be on the podcast? I'm like, when you start listening. No, but
we'll give her a quiz.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It's a complicated. It's very simple, actually. I outgrew the place.
Right.
And maybe guilt isn't the right emotion. Maybe it's not.
I think, but I would absolutely easily call it like, oh, I'm feeling guilty for moving out, for what may appear like selfishness when it's not, you know?
Yeah. I guess like there is a little guilt in having done something for myself, which is a whole nother stupid, complicated emotion for people like us. We have this all the time, don't you?
Yeah. And yet I probably do so much for myself, and sometimes think of myself as selfless. I'm doing this for everybody else, but like I fucking do a lot of stuff for myself, and I don't maybe don't admit it as much as I should.
Interesting.
I should feel guilty for that, for being so selfish.
Well, now you're
buying 6 boxes of Magic Spoon and spending money that I didn't have. Because
what's Magic Spoon?
Magic Spoon is like
it's a cereal.
Yeah, it is a cereal because I got a cereal problem. But it's a low carb cereal. So as a diabetic, I could enjoy the cereal.
Okay, but that's food. That's sustenance.
All right, maybe didn't need to get 6 boxes.
Yes, you did.
They are tiny boxes.
What are you going to do? Like, if you buy one box, you're just going to go buy another box when you're done with the one box.
They're very expensive, and I feel like I got them on sale, and that's why I did.
I think that's a smart choice. Okay, here's what I would say. If you're overindulging in stuff, like if you're buying 6 different colored, oh God. Okay, no. How
pairs
about
of slippers?
Yeah, something like that. Or, I mean, that's just a choice. But let's say you,
They're all different flavors.
For instance, I just did a Girl Scout cookie order for a bunch of friends, right?
Delicious.
What if you had just bought 1 box of each for yourself and like you decided not to share them with anyone? That would be overindulgence and also like slightly selfish.
I
Because
guess so, but like they're Girl Scout cookies, and I'm only human. No?
I know, but like, you know, let's say you had all them on the counter and I was like, hey, can I have one? And you're like, no.
There are people like that
Yeah.
who will get an order of fries, and you're like, can I have a fry? And they're like, no. I ordered fries. You want fries? You order your own fries.
I think I'm going to go get fries after this.
Well, I mean,
McDonald's is right over there.
it is, and sorry, McDonald's, you make good fries.
I know they do. And I haven't had fries in a long time. I avoid fried food like a lot.
The problem is you have to find the right hour because they have to be fresh.
Oh, yeah. Well, how do you know when the right hour is?
I don't think there is.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah. There's sometimes like right before.
There's no system.
I can't even believe that they would give you like old fries. Like, I really would hope that these people understand how good the fries are and they would want to give you the good fries.
Yeah, I don't think they work that way.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think the pride in the company is.
They probably get in trouble if they threw out the bad fries and started to make new ones.
They have to make fries.
Yeah.
Or they have to use all the fries, and they sit under that lamp. They should feel guilty for giving room temperature, mildly hot to room temperature fries. And you should not be able to put it in your mouth when you first get it. It should be that hot.
Yeah.
Like a pizza. Like you're just going to burn the roof of your mouth.
Yep.
Okay. So
so much to cover.
I know, right? Guilt. What am I most guilty about? I don't know. I mean, I sat with a lot of guilt for getting divorced. Not for, I did it for myself, for my happiness, for what I felt needed to be done in my life. But like the effect on the kids, was something that would eat away at me. Like I definitely thought I did something selfish that had a huge effect on them. Turns out, yeah, I mean, they have to travel between two houses, but like their mother and me get along so well now. They're so well taken care of. They're so fully loved. They get Hanukkah and Christmas. It seems like it could worked out. A bad situation worked out in the best way. So
yeah,
there was a lot of guilt for.
That's so
for
tough
maybe no
because
reason.
Like there's this.
But only they could answer that.
Exactly,
maybe it's tough for
because
them
you in order for you to be the best version of yourself and be the best parent, you actually needed to do that, which I'm sure like a lot of guilt surrounded that whole thing, which is kind of similar to how I'm feeling as far as like this transition that I've made in my life, because I had to
divorced your parents.
I did. I had to have a divorce. I had to do something that was right for me, and there's no hard feelings at all. It's just sad because I've been there and I've gotten so comfortable there for several years, and
you guys have been a part of your living everyday life.
Yeah.
And it's not that you guys won't be a part of your everyday life. It'll just be different. It'll be in a different form.
And it'll be healthier. And so
that's the hope for sure, right?
Yeah. And for you and this thing that you did, I had a lot of thoughts when you were saying that, but one of my thoughts is like, can we just destroy the idea that there's a norm about marriage and families? Like the idea, like for
I definitely think it's evolved since when we were kids.
Because there's so many divorces now. And like
yes.
And my biggest fear growing up was that my parents were going to get a divorce. I don't know really why it was my biggest fear. I think I had seen families destroyed because of it, and I just assumed that if that happened to me.
We all watched Kramer versus Kramer as children.
I never saw that. What's that?
What?
Yeah, what's that?
What? Oh my goodness, it's the ultimate divorce movie of all time.
I never saw that.
Really? You got to watch it. It still holds up. It's Meryl Streep and Dustin Hoffman are married, and she decides that she needs to get a divorce. I'm sure he's difficult to live with. I don't know that we know why they're getting a divorce, and she just goes away. And so he's got to raise the kid, and they don't get along. at all. And so then she comes back and they go to court and she kind of takes him custody away, because this is back in the 80s when I think custody often went to the mother. But you got to check this movie out.
Interesting. No, I definitely didn't.
My divorced friend Hannah, who growing up, this was a Bible for her. Love this movie.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I still developed a fear of my family getting divorced. I think I was very, very attached to my family. And whenever there was dissent, I got scared.
Yeah.
Because I think I just developed that fear. I don't know if it came from anything.
Also, conflict wasn't something that people did out loud. You know, conflict was very, very private. And talk about norms, societal norms and stuff like that. You weren't allowed to really put your conflict out. I'm going to say outside. Because immediately, I'm going to say gossip, but people would talk and then rumors would spread and then it would lead to divorce or people would assume that. And so conflict was very, very quiet.
Well, I also feel like, I wish that kids would. So I was incapable at that time of my life to understand
Right.
that if my parents did need to split, that it would have been the best for them. I only thought about myself. And I don't know where I got that from. I don't know if
I think that's normal though for a kid. I mean, it's their world. They don't know how to.
I had a
past their
very,
their
very big
selves.
fear, though, huge fear.
Yeah.
And I still, and I think I just developed a little bit of an abandonment thing.
I also think a lot of parents who probably should have gotten divorced stayed together thinking it was better for the kids, but really it wasn't.
And maybe they've short circuited their own happiness.
For sure.
So,
Or taking it out on the kids.
right.
You know?
And then those children grow up to
Be Republicans. I get it. No, that's not what you were going to say? I should say Republicans. My father was a Republican back when Republicans were real. Yeah, we're talking about conservatives.
oh my God, the world is going to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah,
But I wish that, and maybe society is evolving today for children to understand that a divorce is not such a bad thing. You would hope that if two people decide to break up, it's because they've decided that's what's best for everybody involved.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I said I felt guilty about the kids too, but I felt guilty about to my ex as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I didn't want to create a wound or create pain, and I did that, and I felt very responsible for that.
And this is a big deal for us as people pleasers.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we will often stay in uncomfortable situations because we don't want to hurt somebody else. Because if we do, then we have to live with that guilt.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of shake that off, but ultimately not healthy at all.
Mm-mm.
So that's a big guilt. Guilt can also work in terms of pressuring someone. I brought it up it's the Jewish holidays, let's do guilt. There is this thing in religions too, that guilt is a very, very common used tool in order to get or motivate actions out of people.
Mm-hmm.
I could use a little bit of guilt on my students. Hey, if you do this, then I get in trouble. And if I get in trouble, then I could lose my job. And if I lose my job because you think that this is the good thing to do, that's really selfish of you. So let's think about this. And
that's manipulation. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Which is brilliant. It's a brilliant tactic.
I don't know. I mean, there's probably a better way to get them to do stuff, but
I hate to admit it, but I've really I think when people are manipulating others, they don't really know they're doing it. They're just trying to get their way, and they're doing everything possible to make that happen. So they're trying to
convince. They're trying to yeah.
And I always used to use that excuse when I was if the years that I was in therapy, and I would talk about a relationship I was in, or a family situation or whatever, and my therapist would say that person's manipulating you. I'm like, but they're not doing it on purpose.
Right. But I mean, they are doing it on purpose. They're just doing it because their narrative, they're the main character, and they should be trying to.
Yeah, they're not thinking, I'm going to manipulate Claire right now.
Right.
They're thinking, how do I get my way?
Right. How do I get what I want from this person?
And that was always really hard for me to hear, because, like, from a therapist, because I'm like, well, what the fuck do I do now? I was manipulated. Now what?
Now I can't give them what they want,
but
even though they made a good argument or guilted me into feeling bad.
One really helpful thing that I think she said that I probably wrote down was, like, you can't be manipulated if you know what you want.
You can't be manipulated if you know what you want.
Yeah. So, like...
But what if you're just being stubborn?
No. So let's say I have a really strong stance on something, and somebody tries to convince me that my way of thinking is wrong.
Okay.
And they try to manipulate my thought. They cannot manipulate my thought if I'm unerring and unwavering in my belief.
But what if they hit you with facts and you don't have facts? You're just going with your gut.
Well, facts are not feelings, so.
Yeah, but like it
doesn't matter.
Is it manipulative to be hitting you with facts on the subject that maybe you're just having a gut feeling about?
I think a gut feeling is really strong. I mean, so, and this kind of plays into, like, if we were to touch on politics for, like, just 1 second,
sure.
Like, you could give me facts about let's say abortion, right?
Okay.
Like, we could talk about that extremely painful subject. You could be giving me facts about all of the terrible, horrible things that happen in hospitals with women and unborn children and all these, like, situations. Those are facts. You still cannot convince me that it is not a woman's right to do whatever she wants with her body.
Okay. I mean, you're acting like they're facts on that pro-life side, and I mean, jeez.
But you could.
Yeah.
But
if we're doing this,
science, you could give me science, and I'm still not going to. And science could be fact, right?
Yeah. No, science usually is fact, but science is usually on your side, and not the other side.
No, but it's not.
What do you mean?
Science is not on the side of a woman's right to do what she wants with her body. That's not science. That's choice.
Yes, but pro-life is anti-abortion. Pro-choice is
pro-choice.
You can make the choice whether it's right for you or not. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, it's a slippery slope because
you're right, but and the putting facts on the anti-abortion side,
mm-hmm.
they're usually manipulated. They're usually like, 8-month abortions and stuff like that, and the facts just don't support any of that. Most abortions happen before a certain period of time,
right? And doctors won't even do them after a certain period
right? And
of time
then after a certain period of time, an abortion is a medically
unsafe thing.
Well, no, it's like a medically necessary thing. Like the woman's
mm-hmm.
life is in
gotcha.
danger, or whatever. So it has to be done. It's not a choice.
Yeah, I just think that. If I've seen people's, like, Instagrams and Facebooks where they're, like, posting, like, articles and pictures and this and that. And I'm like, okay, you're trying to come at me with facts because your facts are not about God here. Like, we're not talking about, like, the life situation, you know?
Right.
Like, well, let's negate that for a second, just for argument's purposes. And this just, like, went way off topic for...
Oh my God!
We just got super off topic, but the point is that you can present me with the facts on why it's unsafe, but I'm still going to tell you it's none of your business.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is and that is how I feel, and you will never, because I feel so strongly about that, you cannot manipulate me otherwise into thinking differently.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a really good example. I hear you say that though, but I just don't know what the facts are on.
Well, whatever. We
why
can
it's so
talk about
dangerous.
it. Maybe it was not a good example,
No,
but
it's a perfect example because you're absolutely right. They could make whatever argument they want. We use the word facts, and because facts are so manipulated by the pro-life side, it's hard for me to like swallow the idea that they could actually hit you with facts. To make this whole scenario like work. So that's my thing.
But they're also trying to guilt you.
They're definitely trying to guilt you.
Yeah. Which now we're bringing it back.
Look at you.
And you can't be guilted if you also feel strongly about something.
Okay. Do we have another example of that?
I don't know, because I'm just thinking about how I moved out, and I still know that I am so glad that I did that, but I still feel guilty.
Right.
And I'm just hoping that guilt eventually goes away. I think
it has to.
I think I ultimately have a fear that I'm going to lose my parents. And I've always had that fear too. And that's inevitable. I'm not interested.
Well, it's also in the natural order of things.
Yeah.
For that to eventually happen.
I don't.
And you want to make the best. You don't. I know, but you want to make the best of all the time that you have.
I still really hope that one day I'll just defy life, and
for how long?
Not defy life in terms of living forever. I just want to defy the laws of life. I have a really hard time accepting the fact that I'm aging and that other people that I love are also aging.
Don't look a day over 18, Claire. She's making a face at me.
Well, my knees say otherwise.
My knees are around 52. No, I get that. That makes me think of, my sister and I had a very complicated relationship at times. I always think there was a lot of love, and there were things that we could always connect on, but there were always very different ways about living that we paths that we followed in our life, and how we did certain things. And when you lose someone who you have a complicated relationship with, there can be a lot of guilt. Also makes me think of my grandfather. My grandfather did some really shitty things around my father's death that I just couldn't forgive him for. And I think I probably have brought this up, but I don't know that I feel guilt about not connecting with him before he died. I ask myself that. I feel like maybe I should have more guilt than I do, but I don't. When it comes to my sister, I mean, I don't know if I call it guilt, but I wish that we had, I was going to say, I wish that we had resolved some of our, misses, our our disconnects and stuff like that. But I don't know what that would have looked like. Maybe we were just different people.
Maybe you're just looking for, you're looking for something that's not there.
Yeah. I think so, because I don't know what the resolve would be. I just know that, the time could have been spent better. I guess that's what, if anything, there's guilt about that.
Mm-hmm. I hate to say this, but that's probably normal. I mean, when I think about the fact that sometimes I go to my parents' house right now and I'm like, wow, I can't wait to, I'm so glad that I don't live here anymore, because I really cannot stand this one conversation, or I can't stand that this is happening. And every now and then I stop myself and I think, when they're gone, I am going to really miss that. Yeah. I'm going to miss all the things that made me miserable.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very insightful awareness to have in the moment.
Just to have one more moment with them,
Yeah.
And so I feel bad that I even feel upset with them, because that's why, I'm like, wow, I can't wait to get away. But eventually, when they're not around anymore, I'm going to wish that I stayed.
Yeah.
But
the conversations that you'll have now, when you go over there won't involve all of this
Well, and that's
living, you know.
yeah, and that's true too. Like what I had said to a mutual friend of ours who is losing their parent. Actually, no, you said that. You said it's important to think about all the moments, all the good moments, and I think you said that.
I did.
Yeah, I can't believe I almost took credit for that.
It's all right.
I think I almost said that because you said that. I think I almost said it to somebody else.
As your thing?
Yeah, like a different person, because I was like, oh, I like what Matt said. I'm going to use that because it was a good thing.
But it's I mean, technically it's when you put it out there, it's all ours, whether I put the framing on it or not. And I don't know that other friend that you would have said it to, so how would I even know that you stole?
I can't even remember who that was.
And I
now.
didn't copyright it at all.
No, it came from you.
It did. It in our text.
So it was a beautiful thing. And it's so important because, you know, when people do pass, we don't think about the bad times. We only think about the good times. And those memories are important or those moments are important to establish so that you do reflect on those.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to think about the guilt, you know, like you don't, you know, unless there really was some unfinished business.
And oftentimes for people there is. Having been there, I know that the first couple weeks, it's almost easy to think of all of the positives, and people are around you giving you positives, and there's support and all of this stuff. But come the third and fourth week, and then the first month, and then the second month, where everybody is gone, that's when it's the hardest. Those guilts. I should have done this. I could have done this. I wish I had done that. Start to haunt you a little bit, and that's when you really need to or hope that you grounded some of those good memories so that they can pop back in to kind of balance out all of this negative thinking that you're going to have. And it's there. I try to tell everybody who's grieving, if they ask for my help, that it's okay to have those dark thoughts. It doesn't belittle all of the good stuff, and it doesn't dampen your love for them. It's the natural order of grieving is to have all of that. I could have done this, or whatever dark thought that you may have had. You know, I know for a fact, like when my father was dying, that his breathing was so labored that I had many thoughts of like I just want you I want you to not feel this pain anymore. You know, you're not going to recover. So I hope that this can end for you. You know, and that's basically like wishing your parent dead, and then you're like, why did I fucking want that? Now, you know, this hole in me, this wound is aching, and I had a moment where it was uncomfortable for me, and I wished that they would pass because I pretended like it was for their better, and these are dark thoughts that can really weigh heavy on you, but they're part of the natural order of things. And then I balance that out with a memory when I was like 4 or 5, and I'm playing catch with my father in the yard, and I didn't have a very accurate arm, and I threw it over his head, and he went to jump for the ball, and he jumped to get the ball, but his pants decided that they didn't want to, and his pants just fell down.
What?
As he jumped for the ball. Yeah. It's like it's a huge memory in my head. He jumped up and his pants went down.
That's
in the front
so
yard.
Funny.
Yep.
Wait, so was he embarrassed, or did you both laugh? Was it a
fun?
Oh,
no, he definitely laughed.
Was it a good memory?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, my father didn't get embarrassed by that
hilarious.
stuff at all.
I never heard of that happening.
Yeah. No, he used to. I think I've said this too. He used to after everybody came in for Halloween, he used to go put on a dress and pigtail wig and going around the neighborhood and trick or treat.
Really?
So because he wanted his own candy.
Oh, I love that. Good man.
And
Did you get him a belt after the baseball thing?
No, I was too little. I didn't realize that a belt keeps your pants up.
Huh.
You know. Yep. So.
Now. Great chat. I just know you just touched on a lot about death, and
there's a lot of guilt that can surround grief.
Yeah,
for sure. And I don't know that it's I don't know that it's fair to ourselves. Obviously, everybody's relationships are complicated, and we should allow ourselves grace. But I know that some people put themselves in situations that they have great regret about because of it.
Do you try to absolve yourself from guilt by
Eating? Yes. I eat.
I meant like, okay, so I was just thinking, let's say I do something wrong in a friendship.
Okay. You have wronged me, Claire.
Have I?
No, I'm making the scenario happen.
Okay.
I'm making it between you and I so that it's
So
personal.
I will try, when I feel like I've wronged somebody, let's say I forgot somebody's birthday. I try not to beat myself up over that. Like, I'll try to
Right.
send the text a couple days later and be like, hey, happy belated, love you. Hope you had a great day.
I always go like, look at me. What a good friend. I have extended your birthday celebration.
See, is that manipulation? Are you trying
Absolutely.
to absolve yourself from the guilt?
Yes.
Does it work?
Always.
Great. Love that.
So at least we have a birthday solution. Nothing is better than the whole celebration is over. Everybody has forgotten your birthday, and someone else goes, "Oh, I forgot it. Here it is. Your birth. You should have more attention."
I love that. I mean, at least I would feel honored that somebody thought of me and remembered.
It was important enough for them to make sure they said something because it could have just gone by.
Well, also especially when when the birthday is the time where you hear from people you don't normally hear from, which
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Like the people that reach out and say happy birthday on Facebook are like people that I haven't talked to in 10 years. And I'm like, wow, that's really nice of them that they're still saying happy birthday to me.
It is the best part of Facebook. Even if it's just like they just have to click a thing, you know, I just enjoy it.
There's somebody that we both know who for a couple of years, I don't remember if she would post it on my wall or she would send it to me in a private message, but she would find a picture of a cake that said happy birthday, Claire, and she would send it to me. And she obviously
Nice.
didn't make the cake, but she would find a picture and send it. I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I never thought of doing that.
I always like my close friends. I'll text them, but we talked about this earlier. Sometimes I'll just click on the thing on Facebook just to say, hey,
Yep.
happy birthday, happy birthday.
I actually don't even do that. Well, first of all, I don't really go on Facebook anymore, but so I miss a lot of birthdays.
Yeah.
But I actually don't say happy birthday on people's Facebook walls anymore because I actually think I'm like, if I really cared about that person, I would text them.
Right. Or get
And-
them a huge balloon.
Yeah, and like another.
We're looking at a huge balloon in this room.
I got you
It's
that,
still
didn't I?
here.
It
It's
is.
April.
Well, it's helium.
It shouldn't last this long.
It's got all those cute little pom poms on it.
It does, but it's still as vigorous. It's still got as much life in it.
The thing about balloons is that like I love the idea of balloons, and when I saw that balloon for you, it was like kind of like a standalone balloon, and I was like, it wasn't like I had to decide in a.
Matt's a standalone guy. It needs a standalone balloon.
I just saw it and I was like, it's big, it's beautiful, I'm getting it.
Thank you. I'm big and beautiful as well. I appreciate it.
And I had to put it in my car, and it like was putting balloons in your car is like the worst thing that anyone ever has to do.
It's the least safe driving choice I've ever made in my life is stacking the trunk with balloons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a horrible, horrible thing.
Yeah. If I ever got into an accident, I would feel very, very guilty about that. For sure.
Would you though?
Yeah, because if it was my fault, because the balloons blocked my vision, and I wasn't using my side mirrors well enough, yeah, I'd feel guilty.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So what were we talking about?
We're still talking about guilt. We were talking about death for a little bit. Do you want to read some myths and cliches?
Yeah, let's do it. Myth number 1. Guilt is always bad. Many believe that guilt is purely negative, but it can serve a positive purpose by promoting self-reflection and encouraging accountability.
It's a necessary emotion. I don't know. It feels bad. It feels bad. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard.
No, look, you can use it past the point of its usefulness, you know, but there is a useful quality to feeling guilty. Also, like, brings you back into the world of empathy and thinking about others, as opposed to just living your life as a selfish prick. Guilt means you are a bad person. Feeling guilt doesn't define your character. It's a normal human emotion, and everybody experiences, often in response to specific actions or decisions.
Yeah, well, you just said that. Like, if you are a person who doesn't have guilt, then I think you're a narcissist.
Yeah. Or a sociopath, for sure.
So guilt is an important human emotion to have to develop a...
Empathy, grounding you.
Yeah.
Not be selfish. You can completely eliminate guilt. It's unrealistic to think you can never feel guilt. Instead, learning to manage and process it can lead to personal growth. I think that's exactly what we're answering each myth, the myth before.
Wait, so you're reading the myth and then it's answering it?
Well, it's giving me an answer as well.
Has
No,
it
these
been
are all
always-
my thoughts. I've just come up with these.
Has it always done that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes we have our own discussion.
It seems to be debunking its myth.
Yeah,
Oh,
because it's a myth.
got it.
It's
Instead
not-
of supporting the myth.
Well,
I've always heard for all of the podcast sessions we've done,
yes.
I have always heard the myths the descriptions agreeing with the myth. But I don't know, it could just be me today.
No, I think with the myths, they always debunk it.
Debunk it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well,
I just want to say debunk, I think.
it's a good word.
Yeah. Bring in the noise, bring in debunk. Guilt is always rational. Guilt can be based on irrational beliefs or societal pressures, leading individuals to feel guilty for things they shouldn't. Yeah. I mean, your guilt in moving out is not totally irrational guilt. You know, your parents want you to flourish.
If the guilt lasts 6 months, it's a problem.
You put a timeline on it. Okay.
I'm just thinking
Nice.
I'm just thinking of, like, you know, later this year if I'm feeling guilty still.
Yeah.
Then that's unhealthy.
Even if it's about the cats.
Here's the thing about the cats. I have to work on that because the cats are forgiving.
Yes.
And
Oh,
it's not like my parents are not forgiving, but the cats don't, like, use words, so I just have to go up based on their body language. Whenever I go home to visit, they're not like, "Oh my god, I miss you so much. I can't believe you left me. Me. They're like, "Oh, hi.
where'd you come from?
What's up?"
Yeah.
You know, they are they just act as if everything is normal.
Yeah.
And I have to remember that cats are very adaptable. They really go with the flow.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I think it's better for that. I mean, Willie has a whole new room now.
He's very happy that you're gone.
He spends so much more time in there now that I'm not there.
Yeah.
Probably because
You can't take it personally, though. That's the hard thing. Is we personify animals to think like humans, you know? Like, I used to have a series of Labradors in my life, and that Labrador face, I could endow with a huge, a Ken Follett-sized novel about how guilty they wanted me to feel because I wasn't feeding them or whatever. So that's a hard thing that we have to.
I know. Yeah, my dad's always reminding me and my mom that the animals are animals, and that we are assigning human emotions to them.
Right, right. It's less fun to not. So
Well, we don't really know how else to do it.
true, very true. Guilt is always rational. Apologizing is enough to resolve guilt. While apologies can help, true resolution often requires self-reflection and changes in behavior.
Well, yeah.
I say that all the time to students, like, I won't do it again. I was like, okay, that's words. Now I need some actions. Like, you have to change the behavior. You can't just say you're going to change the behavior. I say it to my actual kids, too. Like, you want to leave this table a mess every time. You got to clean up everything.
I mean, my therapist also told me, you can't trust a man by what he says, only by what he does. And and I'll never forget that. She said a lot of things to me, and I will always remember that it's about the actions, not the words.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing that I've heard, is that people are defined by their actions and not by their words. Because you can say whatever, but if you do the other thing, then
I do try to like kind of abide by that too. Like, I try not to say that I'm going to do something if I don't know I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
and if I say I'm going to do it, I try to make sure that I actually do it, especially like in important things. Like, if I say I'm going to support you, you're dealing with illness or whatever, and I say, hey, look, I'm going to check in with you, and I'm going to bother you about it, and just to let you know that you're supported, and then you just fucking fuck off. That's a really shitty thing to do. So, if I say that, I really try to make sure that I'm doing what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Guilt always affects the individual. Guilt only affects the individual. Guilt can impact relationships and social dynamics, influencing how individuals interact with others and how they feel about themselves in a community context. I don't think only. I mean, I think all those things are true, but I don't think it only affects me, my guilt.
But isn't it personal?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, the guilt that you have on, it would be hard to say that you and I would feel the same exact type of guilt on something. I mean, we probably could. Like, if let's say we both made the same offense.
Okay. Yeah.
Then
but also, like, okay. No, finish your thing. And then
we
I'll
might
say my
share
thing.
that guilt.
Yes.
But it's still different in each of our, like, mental chemistries.
Absolutely. And there are things that I can experience and feel guilty about, and things that you can experience and not feel guilty about. And that doesn't make you a bad person because you're not feeling guilty about it. One of the things that I think about is, and I'm not saying that you don't feel them, but you're very good at it, is boundaries, right? You put your boundaries up and you don't appear to feel guilty when you're being strict with your boundaries. And because it's newer to me, I think I struggle a little bit with that. Like, I know I should put up a boundary, but then maybe I'll second guess it, and sometimes I'll take that boundary down when I shouldn't. I've been pretty good.
It's hard.
Yeah. But I don't know that you don't feel guilty, but you don't appear to feel guilty.
Sometimes I do. I mean, it's
Context, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. So there might still be some boundaries that I've set that I still feel bad about.
Yeah.
Or more recently, I was thinking about creating a boundary with somebody that, like, I had the conversation.
Someone I know?
Yes.
Why am I excited?
It's not exciting.
Okay.
No,
All
it's
right.
not. And it might not, it's just a conversation that I might have to have with somebody. It might not work, right? But I've had the conversation in my head already. And it's just about, like, there's somebody in my life who always tells me somebody else's business. And I have to tell them, like, I really need you to stop doing that because it puts me in an uncomfortable position with the other person.
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
So and that person who I might have to create this boundary with, which I don't know if it's a boundary. It's more like a ground rule. It's a bit like, hey, can you stop doing that type thing?
Yeah.
They might not abide by it, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to love them.
Yeah.
It's a family member, so it just comes with the territory of family.
Yeah.
But and if they don't respect the boundary, I'm going to have to adapt anyway.
True. I wish I could have more boundaries at work sometimes. Like, I could be more vocal about what my boundaries are. I think I've set some real boundaries and I abide by them, but they're like I haven't expressed them. So my behavior is just my behavior. And if other people don't understand why the behavior is this, it's because I set a boundary, so I'm not talking about it.
And that's why it's important to have your belief system.
Right.
Because if your belief system is strong, then it's easier to create the boundaries.
Yeah. I don't feel guilty about those boundaries at work. It's just the personal boundaries that I feel more guilty about. Here's one thing as we're like circling the wagons here. Why is that a thing?
I get it.
We're round and third. No, I knew you would, but like, why did I go to the Western?
Oh, it's Western? I was thinking of little red wagons like kids' wagons.
Really?
Yeah.
I always think of the Oregon Trail. We're circling the wagons.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because you can make a stand against the natives.
Oh,
So,
that's pretty good.
well, no.
I was just
not
thinking little
good.
red wagons.
We stole their land. I like yours better. We're going to get the red flyers.
Yeah.
Circle the red flyer. All the kids in the neighborhood are circling the wagons. Why are we circling the red flyer wagons?
That's just my image.
No, but like, what is it leading to?
I don't know. What's happening?
Okay. Like where the is it an analogy, a metaphor? It's a metaphor. Okay, so we're circling wagons, meaning we're finishing up.
Oh,
we're making our final
I
stand.
thought you meant we were circling
back to something.
circling around something that we're avoiding. That's not what we're doing.
No,
We're not. No, not at all. I didn't think we were.
Is that what you thought? Circle the
I
wagons
thought
meant?
that's yeah.
Can we look it up?
Should we just delete what we just said?
Why? It's fun.
Oh my God, where are we?
Just give me 1 second, people.
Okay.
I'm looking for. Yeah, okay.
Okay, circling the wagons means that we're rounding up.
Circle the wagons is an idiomatic expression that means to gather together for protection or support, especially in the face of adversity or external threats. The phrase originates from the practice of pioneers in the American West who would form a circle with their wagon wheels to create a defensive barrier against potential attacks. In modern usage, it often refers to a group or organization coming together to defend themselves against criticism or challenges, emphasizing solidarity and unity in difficult situations. So let's just be very, very clear right now. Neither of us used it right.
No.
I'm like circling the wagons. Yeah, we're finishing up. Nope, that's not what it means.
No, not at all. So what are we doing?
We're rounding third. That's baseball.
Oh, got it.
So we're coming home. We're rounding third and coming home. That
I
makes
get that
more
one.
sense.
Sorry, everyone.
Oh my God.
Okay.
That's so funny.
And
I've
what were
never
you gonna
been so wrong.
What were you going to say?
It's a good thing that I remember after that tangent. I live with a guilt, like a self-inflicted guilt based upon my own actions, usually revolving around food.
Oh.
I will spend money on food. I will overbuy food. I will overeat it. And then I will feel guilty immediately after. It is my addiction, like drugs and alcohol. I am highly aware of it. And I suffer from it almost every day. For sure. Especially like the overeating, like you don't need to get two of everything, right? Often if I do fast food, it's over ordered all the time. Like,
It's so easy to do because it's so cheap.
yeah, and it's like, oh, if I'm going to spend the money, I should spend at least this amount. But I'll do it with sushi, which I did last night.
That's not fast food.
No, but I'll just do it with food in general.
Okay.
And then I will immediately feel guilty about it.
Oh God, such a topic. But the yeah, food is that's a tough one. But you know, when you said it's your addiction, it made me think like, you know, everybody's got to have something. I think.
Yeah.
I think we've all got our things. You know, like I was always you know, I still look for that thing. Like a thing
right.
to like I tried to cut out caffeine and I actually when I did cut out caffeine for about 6 weeks I actually realized I didn't need it and I didn't look for it.
Yeah.
But then when I slowly reintroduced it, I've been finding that I get excited about it. And I don't know why. It doesn't actually do anything to me.
Right.
But it just makes me excited because I've cut out drugs and alcohol in my life. And those are the things that used to excite me. Now I don't have that. So I've got to look for something else, right?
Does it feel like a treat or a reward?
Oh, yeah.
Because I will reward myself with food all the time.
Right. So
Like I earn this. You didn't
exactly.
earn
And
fuck.
the crazy and sad part about an addiction is that you're going to do it and you're going to feel bad about it. And then you're going to do it again, despite the fact that you felt bad about it. And it
makes me feel bad usually.
It's a very, yeah. And I get that. Like, I experienced that with food on a similar but smaller level.
You're a smaller person.
I'm a smaller person, but I also like last year or the last like maybe couple years, like I did experience overindulgence in eating, and it's so painful because you're like, I shouldn't do this, but I can't not do it. And then you do it, and then you're like, why did I do that?
Yep.
And then maybe a couple days goes by and you're like, I'm going to do it again. We have like a built-in forgetter we cause ourselves pain. And that's a whole different type of guilt and like self-harm.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make me good. It's not healthy for me in any way.
But the good thing is that, and the difficult thing is that you can change that.
Yeah, I know.
You actually can. And I will say that I changed that this year. And it was not easy to make the change, but it was really easy to go back. So like,
of course.
I made this major food
dietary change
earlier this year. And what was interesting about that was I was so motivated to do it. That was the only thing I had to get me through it was the motivation.
Right. Well, because I think you've talked about it, so we can cut it out if you don't want to talk about it. But like at the cost of not changing it was the most precious thing to you.
Yes.
Which is your singing voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a beautiful motivator to make changes.
Yeah.
I think I've said it before, like I used to have crushes on girls that didn't smoke, and I could quit smoking for like 8 months or something because I wanted to
which is
ingratiate myself to them.
So
it's interesting how you can find that motivation. Living, being healthier, being around for my kids and experiencing things should be the most precious thing, right? And yet that hasn't motivated me in any way to sustain the changes in food.
Yeah.
I mean, I did get the magic spoon, which is a good thing. It's a healthy alternative to regular cereal. It's
a whole different subject, but at the same time, like the guilt, and this ties into addiction too. Like, you actually won't make a change. It's a psychological thing. You will not make the change until you have suffered enough, and the suffering is it's relative to whatever the fuck's going on in your head. And like, let's say when it comes to like my drinking experience, right?
Yeah.
I hear stories about other people who were hospitalized multiple times for their drinking and they've recovered. I did not have that experience. I had a very light bottom, let's say. Like I definitely suffered, but I suffered at a completely different level than some of these other people I know. Like, these people almost died multiple times. And I didn't have that experience, but it was still painful for me. So my bottom was different than this other person's bottom, but we still somehow managed to recover in whatever unique way made sense to us.
Yeah.
So, your, like, my consequences and that person's consequences were so different. And, you're not going to, or anyone really is not going to make a major change in whatever habit is distressing them until there is a major consequence. And guilt is strong, maybe not strong enough.
Yeah. I definitely did that with vaping. You know, there was a big enough thing that made me change it, and that happened. Look, your story was so important and serious that I totally didn't interrupt you to make a joke about the light bottom. So
You know, they call
I
it.
think I'm growing.
They say high bottom, and that makes me giggle.
Yes,
And
a
people say
high
low bottom too.
Imagine somebody walking around with a high bottom.
I think about that all the time.
Yes.
It's a terrible thing to say, but we try not to laugh when we talk about it.
I get it. I controlled myself, but of course I had to bring it up now. Claire, we've done it.
I can't wait to go get some French fries now.
Yeah, French fries are delicious. Well, thanks for listening to us. This was a really interesting conversation. We, as always, just go where we go.
It was kind of deep.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, it was good.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
get deep
Yeah.
every once in a while.
Yeah.
Still think
that's
they're
good.
laughs. Anyways, thank you for listening so much.
Thanks,
and
everyone. Thanks, Matt, for having me.
Of course, enjoy your French fries.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Well, that's our episode. I think you can hear throughout the whole thing that I got a sicky voice. Anyways, it was a pretty interesting conversation, I thought. I think that thing I was talking about at the end is like self-indulgence that leads to guilt. Yeah, it's a problem. Last night, I didn't just order one pizza, I ordered 2 pizzas. I didn't eat it all, but I had to get 2. I wanted to try their potato pizza. I really liked that. It was a place that everybody was saying is like the best in town. You got like rated the best in town. And let me tell you, it was not the best in town. I'm still trying to find the best pizza in town. I mean, I work in New Haven, so at least I have that. The greatest pizza in the world is very close. But in my hometown here, whatever, the town I live in, yeah, just not happy with any of them. There's one that's good, but I'll leave that out. But it's different. It's not like classic pizza. Anyways, thank you for listening to the Last Will Podcast. If you like what you heard, rate, review, and subscribe. It means a lot to us when you listen and give us feedback. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you very soon. Onward, forward.